Alrighty, today I'm working on this 2000 Deawoo Nubira. My wife didn't tell me. Well, she did tell me. It was making noises, and by the time I checked it, it was bare metal. So I need to replace the rotors and replace the brake pads on this car. All I've done is take the hubcap off using a small pry bar. I'm gonna take these lugs off with a 3/4 and a breaker bar. I've got these new Brembo rotors, if this thing will focus, and brake pads for both sides. And I got 2 rotors and 4 brake pads, one set for each. When you're doing brakes, you always want to do both sides, otherwise it'll wear unevenly, and it becomes an issue after a while. You don't know what side is worn and what side isn't, and one side will be braking harder than the other, so it'll wear tires differently. So you want to do it in sets of 2, right and left, whether it be rear or front. So I'm going to take this wheel off and see the damage, see how bad it is, and hopefully we'll be able to fix this today. Okay, well, I took the tire off, 4 bolts, and it looks pretty bad. It's looking pretty thin. It's just metal to metal. That's how bad it looks right there. It's just all bad. So just to give you a comparison to what it's supposed to look like, there it is. So of course the drum is new, but there it is. You look at thickness also, that looks pretty old. So I'm gonna take that caliper off, take it off, and then we'll try to work this out. Alrighty. This bitch is a pain. Okay, so it took me about half an hour to get this shit off. As you can see, I took out 2 bolts. They were 14mm, 2 14mm bolts, which at the moment, there we go. Alright, 2 14mm bolts that held the caliper in place right there, and one at the bottom. Those 2 over there. I took those off. Took out the brake pads, which are pretty bad. I mean, that's bad. Never really seen one that bad. That was the front one. This is the back one. I mean, they're both pretty bad. Just to give you an example of what a new one looks like. That's what a new one looks like. It's pretty thick. This has nothing on there at all. So these are the new ones. That's the old one. Pretty big difference. So after I took those out, they kind of fell out. Didn't really need to force them. There's this screw right there that was a pain in my ass. Okay, this thing right here, I almost ruined it trying to get it off. That little screw goes right in there, and it's the only thing holding this thing from coming out. Okay, so what I did, I threw some penetrating oil all up in there, around each hole, pounded it with a hammer, took a pry bar and stuck it in the back like this and tried to pry it out. And I finally got it. half stripped, but I got it. Hopefully I have a little more luck with the back one, or the other side. But now all we do is pop it off. And you can see the back is pretty bad too. And there you go. This is the old one. Probably shouldn't put it right there. And this is the new one. Not only is this one new, but you know, hasn't been used and stuff. Diameter, not diameter, but thickness, pretty big difference. So yeah, should probably replace the shoes. They still look pretty good though. I don't think I'll worry about that right now. So all I need to do is align the screw hole. Okay, see that? I just aligned the screw hole with the one that's in there. Just place it on there and put the screw back. That's it. Alrighty, so now I put the screw back in there. Put the caliper back on. I put some lubricant inside the hole. I know I should probably put some anti-seize on the screw, but I don't have any on hand, so I just put some lubricant on there. Maybe next time I'll take it off, it'll be a little easier to take off. So next step is to push this caliper back out. Since it was worn, this is self-adjusting, so it just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. So I bought this right here because I do a lot of brake jobs for family people, for my family. So how this works is this helps to push the caliper back in. It's pretty simple. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to record this, but or even do it, as a matter of fact. There we go. Okay, so you see that? This is holding it like that, and then you twist this. I'm pretty sure there's an easier tool or something. I've used a C-clamp, a C-channel clamp before. You keep turning, and then it keeps pushing it back and back and back. That way you can put the new brake pads in. You know, and it'll fit into the new rotor. So I'm gonna do this real quick, and then I'll start it back up so you can see the you know, the difference. Alrighty, there you go. I don't know if you remember. I mean, I'm pretty sure you remember. You just rewind a video. But see how it's all pushed back? You just put the flat edge of this in this area right here, twist it until it goes all the way in, so you can't push it no more. That's pretty much it. Next thing you just got to do is install the brake pads, and that's it. Then reinstall the two 14mm bolts and put the tire back on. That's pretty much it. I'll do another one of we'll all put back together before the tire. Okay, well, I put everything back together. Calipers on, screws back in. There's some tension. You always want some tension from the drum brakes. And yeah, all we need to do is put the tire back on. Again, this is the old one. That's the new one. Pretty big difference. Mainly because it was metal to metal. That's the biggest difference. So now it's time to do the other side. Just do the exact same thing that I did on this side on the other side, and it'll be fine. Another thing, also when you're test driving, after everything's put back together, you need to make sure that you brake real hard I'll take you along for the test ride. You need to brake really, really hard a few times in a row so that the brake pads heat up real good, and you know, you burn all this stuff out. Because also the brake pads come with a like a braking layer. Like when you buy a new car, it comes with braking oil. The pads, the first few layers are braking. So if you don't break it in properly, you're not going to be able to brake properly. So make sure when you're test driving it, you start out maybe at 10 miles an hour, then slam on the brakes, and then 20, slam it on, 30, 40, and 50, each time slamming it, making sure it stops real hard. You know, they'll smoke a little bit, but that's normal. Just make sure they're really broken in. Otherwise, you're gonna have to be replacing them again because you know, they won't work right. So I'll take you along for the test ride, but that's it. It's pretty simple. Main thing is that screw right there is a pain. You can see it, I almost stripped it. Hopefully the other side will be a little easier. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this helped on anybody who's doing a brake job on any car. They're pretty similar. All of them pretty similar. But this is a 2000 Deawoo Nubira, and this has been a brake job removal, installation of the brake caliper, brake pads, and rear passenger side drum / rotor. So hope this helps, and good luck with your job.